Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Thursday afternoon. Got to get over here in my notes, and wouldn't you know it, right? About the time our show starts, we got a bunch of people in the front yard trying to do some weed eating and some blowing stuff off and all kind of things. How are you guys doing? What's going on? Let me see you in the chat. I would love for you guys to pop in there and let's chat and have a little conversation today about some things that I got on my mind. I've always got something on my mind. I just had a great episode over there hosting for Dinesh D'Souza with my friend Larry Taunton. He got swatted again last night. We talked about that a little bit this morning on Dear America. He texted me a moment ago after we finished our conversation. So as you know, with the swatting thing, what happens is they order the pizza. They send you the pizza cash on delivery, right? And that's the way they prove that you're home. They prove that your address is, they legitimize your address. So he had they were sending like text messages last night. They were going to his wife's phone. It was from Pizza Hut. It was from Papa John's. It was from Domino's. All the pizza deals were asking, are you there? We're fixing to deliver or something, because this thing's been going on. It's kind of crazy. So he texted me about an hour ago, and he said, just got a call from Domino's pizza franchise owner in Birmingham. He told me they were getting loads of pizza orders for me, but his drivers had been unsuccessful in delivering. He wanted to know what was up. I explained. He was very helpful, said he would block future orders, and told me these orders all came through the app. He said that he might be able to get me the IP address. This is crazy, this swatting thing that's going on. I was hoping that had kind of died down and gone away, but apparently it has not. It's a new wave of it, and I know Larry doesn't order pizza. I've seen his pizza oven at his house. It's incredible. And he lives 30 minutes from civilization, so it's not like there's a lot of pizzas being delivered out there. And so, anyway. Now, I would be in trouble because I order a lot of pizzas. I mean, look at me. I guess if you're getting swatted, you must be doing something right. Like, you're pissing off the deep state. I don't know if you guys saw that episode of Andrew Schwartz with Mayor Eric Adams of New York. Eric Adams, who I don't care for, don't defend him in any way, shape, or form. I think he's a piece of trash, was talking about how there's a permanent government. It doesn't matter who you elect, there's a permanent government. Interesting take from a Democrat mayor of New York City, who is a very powerful person. I don't know if you know this or not. But that was an interesting take. You might check out some of the clips. I'm not encouraging you to go watch the whole show because you don't need a whole bunch of Eric Adams in your life. But I'm glad you guys tuned in today for the Chad Prather Show. I sit around trying to think of things I want to tell you before we kick off the show. And I'll tell you, I was thinking about America First and America Exceptionalism. I was thinking about this tariff situation. You know, American exceptionalism has become a notion of like a bad word recently. Like it's almost hate speech, right? But American exceptionalism, it's not built on nothing. It's not something that we just imagined. It's not a myth. It's a reality that's written in the stories of our soldiers and our scientists, our entrepreneurs, everyday citizens who achieve against all odds and strive to make America great. We're the engine of freedom, the shield of democracy, the hope for generations yet to come. So when you defend American exceptionalism, that's not just patriotic, folks. It's absolutely necessary. It's one of the reasons why they've made the phrase American exceptionalism a bad word. Because if you forget what sets us apart as Americans, then we're risking losing what has made us great. Yeah, sure, we got flaws, but we confront them. We really do, openly. You look at the scars in the history of our past. We've debated them. We've disagreed with them. And you know what we've done? We have progressed through them. Now there are factions and powers that be that are trying to set us back into those days before true progress. But see, that progress is the power of the American system. When we progress, we grow stronger through challenge. We don't grow weaker, we grow stronger. And so when you talk about America First or American exceptionalism or even American nationalism, where we value what's happening inside of our borders, we want to be stronger. We want to brag on that strength. And you know what? It's about time somebody stood up and just said, enough is enough. And I think that's what Donald Trump is doing right now, particularly with these tariffs. So for decades, we have let other countries take advantage of the United States. They've bled our factories dry. They've stolen our jobs. They've flooded our markets with cheap, low-quality goods while our workers are paid the price. And I think Trump's just saying no more. The tariff plan, I don't know how it's going to work out, but I think it's smart. And it's not just smart. To me, it's patriotic. It's a declaration of economic independence. We're not going to let China manipulate its currency, which is exactly what they do, and then dump its junk on our shores anymore. We're not going to let Europe slap tariffs on our products while they get free access to ours. We're finally playing the game the way it should be played, and that is America first every single time. See, tariffs, they're not about punishment, folks. They're about power. Particularly economic power, the kind that builds steel mills in Pennsylvania and auto plants in Michigan, the kind that brings back jobs, raises wages, and tells every American worker, you matter more than global profits. Now, there's going to be the elites that whine, the media is going to moan, but real Americans, I think they get it. They know that fair trade starts with strong trade, and strength always starts at home. We're not here to apologize for our success. Hell no. We're here to protect it, to build on it, to own it. So yes, right now we're putting tariffs on foreign goods. And yes, we're taking a stand. And yes, the world is watching, but let them watch. Because this time the American worker is going to come out on top. I believe that. This isn't just policy, it's a movement to rebuild our country, revive our industries, and put our citizens first. American exceptionalism, right where they belong. America, I believe, is back, and we are not backing down. Let's talk to you about my friends over at Patriot Protect. Just had Skip on the show from Patriot Protect. Intriguing conversation that we had on Tuesday about how your information is out there on the dark web, it's on the deep web, it's on the internet. And AI scammers, the cyber criminals, they can find it. They'll send you phishing emails and text messages and try to get information from you, and then they use AI to manipulate that information and ultimately steal your identity, your information, your finances, and the things that you find precious to you. There's nothing more valuable than your identity, and they're out there to get it. Patriot-Protect.com/Chad. They are your one-stop shop for making sure that you get blacked out on the dark web. You don't want to be found, folks. You don't want to be found. I am a customer, and I appreciate them so much. I was just talking with Skip again yesterday via text message, and I'm thankful that they are on the job. I see the difference with just the cut down of all the spam and the scams and all the garbage that's out there, and it's all because I am a member, a monthly member, for just a few dollars a month. Patriot-Protect.com/Chad. A lot of you were convinced, but maybe you haven't pulled the trigger. I want you to go today to Patriot-Protect.com/Chad, and I want you to get them and their one-time blackout. I want you to do that so that you can protect your identity. All right, ring, ding, ding, ring my bell. There he is, Party Foul Steve's in the house. Everybody, oh boy, howdy.
Hey,
Party Foul.
I just finished mowing.
Just finished mowing. Is that what
Thanks.
you said?
Yeah, I'm weed eating. Now we're gonna blow it off. So
Can y'all hear that? Can you hear it?
I don't think anybody else can hear it, but I can sure hear it in this room.
Well, I tell you what, those guys that come out here at this property where I live, they're very thorough. Let me just say, they don't leave a blade of grass untrimmed or unblown. They are all about it. But you guys out there in the chat, let me see a couple of American flags, some dancing Trumps, anything that blows up the deal. I just got a text message from Graham Allen, and he says that he wants to talk about something, so we'll find out what that's all about.
Chad, I owe you an apology.
You do?
A little bit. Yeah, I do.
Well, I'm here to receive it.
I put something on Instagram. I thought it was really funny. No one turns the volume on their phone. And you said, hey, people are texting me. What did you put? And anyway, you know what? Anyway, I told you. And now they're blowing my phone up.
Yeah.
So I apologize.
You've been out of the
for
game
that.
too
It's
long,
funny.
Party Foul.
It was a joke. It was a joke. Make sure you have your volume up if you're listening to Instagram Reels. Don't take me
over
serious.
on at Party Foul Steve on his Instagram, on his story, not your reel, on your story,
that's it.
Send some prayers for Chad. You can't put that stuff out there. My mother will be blowing me up within the hour, wanting to know what's wrong. There are too many people that hold on a little too tight. Social media is not the place to joke around with with a subtle humor. It's just not. You'll have to go see on Party Foul Steve's deal. Follow him while you're over there, but you'll have to go over there and see what he posted to see what you guys are praying about. Don't tell any more. Let him go to your page and find out.
Yeah, okay.
Let him go.
I'll keep it there. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But
so we're going to fly out. We're going to fly out tomorrow. It is hilarious, but if people don't turn the volume up, they think there's something wrong with me. And there's plenty wrong with me, but I promise, in the grand scheme of things, I'm okay. Tomorrow we're going to fly out. We're headed up to Kansas. Going to fly into Wichita, then head over to Hays, Kansas for the tomorrow night show. I think there's still some tickets available. And then on Saturday night, we're going over to Sharon Springs. We'll come home on Sunday. Sharon Springs is sold out. So we're going to crisscross Kansas. I like driving across Kansas. I think it's beautiful. There's nothing there, and you can just see grass and sky forever. I love that. I really do
hours
enjoy
in a
that.
car
But
with
tomorrow,
Chad Prather,
Steve,
no.
you've done a lot of hours in the car with me, Bubba. And you better pray the gay away. You
sit in
better not
silence.
have a meltdown in the airport, dude. Don't you ever have a meltdown in the airport. I don't understand what it is about these people in the airport that are just getting naked in the airport. Is naked on the plane. Spirit Airlines passenger has a meltdown. I don't think the Spirit Airlines has anything to do with the meltdown. Maybe.
This happened again?
But it happened again. Yeah, she took her clothes off during an argument at the airport. Apparently, when you get in an argument with somebody, you get naked. So she was seen with minimal clothes on, which literally means her lower underwear. This was Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International Airport. They be wilding up in there. I think this is blurred out if you want to play. I think she's... Look at the size of those panties on this lady. Wow! Watch out! Look at man.
This is just a case of menopause, hot flashing. And when the women get angry, them clothes come off. It's either that or drugs because, somebody gets the drugs or gets the clothes off and do all that crazy stuff.
Either that or they're putting something in the water at the airports, or maybe they're taking their drugs when they go through TSA. But what is going on with all these people getting naked at the airport?
It's a trend.
I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't understand. There's nothing that's ever happened to me at the airport, and there's been plenty of frustrations at the airport, but nothing's ever happened that said, you know what, in this moment, I need to get naked.
But,
I just never done that.
Hot flashes.
And listen, True Republic, I've drank a lot of tequila it's never. Now, vodka's another story. I might get naked on vodka. Back in the day, I used to want to disrobe, but still not really in the airport.
Yeah, but Chad, you and I are both professional travelers. I mean, that's what we've done for a living for 10, 15 plus years.
Well, I have for 30 years, but doing what we do for the last 10 or so, yeah.
Yeah, so we go to airport. We're going to go have our morning drink, no matter what time of day it is. But we know where to stop it at. People that don't travel very often tend to go in there and then turn it up. Yeah. When they're at the airport, and that's probably what's happening. I think these people are drinking the tequila, and it's making their clothes fall off.
I love this guy right here that gets on my porch and just starts blowing it off with the air blower right there. And I'm like, hey, Juan, go on. One day I had DoorDash food that was sitting out there in the bag, and he was air blowing. He was blowing my food. Like, bro, Juan, go on. Ping Juan. Historically speaking, Steve, let's qualify this. Historically speaking, we had our drink in the morning at the airport, okay?
Yeah,
we have chilled way out from those days.
Yeah, we have. I've chilled way out since I don't know, about last July. So,
well, you know what?
I ain't completely dried out, but I'm close as I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, if you guys are having a drink, now is the time to have a drink. I want you guys to take a look at this. You just won't believe what's going on, folks, in Texas. The Texas State House, it is in session right now. They've so far declared a Pakistan Day. They have had a Beyonce Day. They're commissioning all kinds of days. Take a look. They did an opening prayer for the Texas State House of Representatives. You think Texas is okay? No, this is a prayer asking the Lord to support those advocating for transgender children and illegal aliens while opposing the efforts of, scroll back down, of, of many Republicans. There you go. Let's hear the prayer. Let's see what you got,
And
sister.
where their service is unfaithful, we beg for your forgiveness. They know not what they do.
Oh.
God, forgive them for placing party over people. Forgive them for lining their pockets and campaigns with bribes from billionaires. Forgive them for caring more about re-election than about the people they are elected to serve. Lead them to repentance, to turn toward you, the God who through Jesus Christ reminds us, blessed are you who are poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are you who are hungry now, for you will be filled. Blessed are you who weep now, for you will laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you and when they exclude you and revile you and defame you. But woe to you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. God, save these leaders from the temptations of evil and give them the moral courage to stand with the poor, the hungry, and the grieving. We pray especially for the most vulnerable people in our state, our children. Guide these lawmakers to protect all our Texas children, regardless of religion, race, socioeconomic status, gender identity, disability, citizenship, by funding and supporting our neighborhood public schools with the abundant resources at their disposal. Help them to see in each child's face their own children's faces, their own grandchildren's faces. Help them to make the education they want for their loved ones a reality for every single child in our great state, without exception. For those here and reticent.
I don't know where these people come from. Like, I really don't. Like, you're gonna proof text some scripture. You're gonna toss it out there to make it sound all loving and flighty and sweet and favorable to fit your deal, and then you're gonna add other phrases in there that have nothing to do with anything biblical.
It's sacrilege and sarcastic, kind of all intertwined in there.
Well, this whole thing about this idea that Jesus in the New Testament is all about just everybody being who they want to be, and we need to have the most compassion in the world on just everybody. No, we are commanded to love everybody, and we are to love the lost, to love the brethren, love those who are members of the fellowship of faith. We are supposed to love each other. We're supposed to love. We're supposed to forgive. But we're also to speak the truth in love. And see, that's the thing. Nobody wants to speak the truth in love anymore. Nobody wants to talk about the idea that there are consequences to things. Galatians chapter 6, do not be deceived. God is not mocked, for in due season, if you do not grow weary in well-doing, you will reap. I mean, you will reap what you have sown. It says, do not grow weary in well-doing, for in due season. There's consequences to things. Some people want to call it karma. That's not a biblical concept. Consequences are they're not the universe doing something to you. It's an almighty just God who may be tempered in love, mercy, and grace, but at the end of the day, when you start perverting the identity, because again, the identity that God created in a human being, go read Romans chapter 1. Go read, I'll tell you something. If you read Romans chapter 1, Paul's rebuke of the Roman church, talking about exchanging their lusts, natural desires, the man's natural desire for a woman, he exchanged it for that of a man. And then he starts talking about how they worshiped the images of animals. I can tell you this. The fact that people would get more up in arms about killing a litter of puppies than they would an unborn baby tells you everything you need to know about Romans 1. Because in every society, especially prior to its fall, every great society, there's always been sexual perversion and there's been a worship of animals. There's always been where you elevate animals higher than people. If you look at that in this element, this idea that we're out there, I mean, what happened when Christy Noem wrote in her book about shooting her dog? I don't care if you liked it or not. I'm just saying that everybody got all up in arms. Nobody gets that pissed off over abortion. Nobody gets that pissed off because we have Romans 1 escalated escalated the things that are beneath us to being higher than us. And when you start doing what she says to protect the transgender, no, how about we just protect children? And part of that protection would be let's protect them from the identity confusion, and then having parents with Munchausen syndrome by proxy that are putting an ideology in their brains and brainwashing them, or educators that want to do their TikTok dances in a provocative way with their dingleberries hanging between their Lululemons. Maybe we ought to love our children enough to keep them from being exposed to that level of BS.
Yeah, that teacher should be talking about that teachers. They should just be fired immediately anyway.
Yeah.
There's no place for that in the classroom.
Free press audit, I love you. You said DoorDash does not pay their drivers even half of minimum wage. Please look into other food delivery services. That's not my problem. That's the person that chooses to work for DoorDash. They should look into another employer. Now, I tip the snot out of people. Steve will tell you. I make sure people are taken care of. So,
and I always offer to go get the food so he doesn't have to DoorDash it, but he doesn't tip me if I do. So it's kind of it's
what are you?
air.
What? You know what? You're more confused than a transgender kid. I don't even know what world you're making up right now. No. Steve, your camera's fuzzy. Why? We gotta fix your auto.
What happened to
your auto thingy thing? Focus is off.
Wonder if I can do it from right here.
No, you can't do it from right there, but you can lean forward and you can twist your little knob a little bit. Let's see Steve focus himself. Come on, Steve.
No, because every time I do, you stand up and
look,
you see.
Here we go. Lean forward, and let's that's your zoom. That's your zoom. That's the zoom. You got a whole other deal. All right, right there. Leave it alone. Now sit your butt down. That is a great shot, Steve. I appreciate you bringing that right into the forefront of the podcast. Welcome to the Chad Prather Show. It is Thursday afternoon.
It's crotch shot Thursday.
Yeah, free press audit. I hope you know I'm not picking on you at all. I just responded to the comment. I agree. I think all of our wait staff and our service industry out there is underpaid. I'm a chief defender of them, but I'm also a chief critic of them because after COVID and what happened when nobody could go to work and then nobody would go to work, and then when people did go to work, they didn't do a good job. The service industry suffered more than anything, and it's still not out of that blight. But I am always tipping 25% or more on any service that I do if I'm out and about, even if it's bad service. I'd love to see what you guys have to say.
But what happens with that, Chad? We kind of frequent the same places, so
yeah.
After it doesn't take them very long. The servers know who tip, and they bring the service, and they step their game up.
And we always leave them a little Jesus. We always leave them a little Jesus everywhere we go. And you can't go in there after church and cuss and fuss and fume and fight with the server after you left the Baptist church and then expect people to listen to your witness and then tip them 8%. You can't do that, all right? So I like to go in there and leave them a good tip and a little Jesus. Jesus in focus. It kind of looks like Party Foul Steve. Georgia ain't no better than Texas in regards to this. The Georgia House Democrats walked out of the chamber. Guess why? They were protesting something. Guess what it could be? Gender-affirming care for prisoners. Let's call that what it is. Sex changes for prisoners. Georgia Republicans are saying, we don't want to perform sex changes on prisoners. And apparently the Georgia House Democrats, that's their priority, I guess. They were protesting the Republicans right here. But play this clip. Get pissed off about it. They're done. Walking out of chambers.
Hey, Democrats going to keep doubling down on dumb shit stuff.
It's an 80-20 issue. If you want to watch Georgia flip, keep pulling stuff like this. And when I say flip, Georgia has a Republican governor. Brian Kemp is there. I say Republican. I helped get the guy elected the first time. And, I've regretted it sort of ever since. But Georgia's got a problem, man. Georgia is Fulton County control. That's Atlanta. Wow. And they keep pulling stuff like this. They're going to see a lot of this stuff flip over. So this is all about prisoners. I mean, if you go to prison for breaking the law, can we just put you in prison? Can we make sure that you stay alive, you have air to breathe, you got a place to lay down, place to take a dump, place to pee, place to get some sunshine every day, and 3 meals a day, and let's just leave it at that. We shouldn't be putting, cutting your wiener off or creating whatever. We shouldn't be doing any of that stuff.
I mean, unless we're willing to go ahead and do breast augmentation and stuff like that for regular females so they can get larger breasts, then we shouldn't be doing
No,
that.
shouldn't be doing it.
So
Shouldn't it be?
that's cosmetic. It's cosmetic surgery.
I mean, you shouldn't be doing it in the Army. Shouldn't be doing it in prison. I mean, you shouldn't be doing it at all, honestly. Like, you really
You
should.
do that on your own dime, on your own time.
I mean, if you want to go out there and experiment on yourself, here's the thing. Now, if you had a prisoner, then put this in perspective, guys. If you had a prisoner that was in there and he went in there and just, he was in the shop, he's in there making license plates or whatever they're doing, and he just grabs a hatchet and he just cuts his own hand off. They would put him in for psychiatric evaluation. Or let's say he just started chopping fingers off and he's like, the devil has told me to cut my fingers off. They'd put him in for psychiatric evaluation. But you cut your wiener off, free game, carte blanche, have at it, baby. Knock it down. I guess you don't need your wiener to make license plate and you need your fingers. So I don't know. I don't understand the logic in there.
They hand them guys a hatchet.
Let Bubba from the C block come in there. He'll cut all your stuff off, man. He might not put nothing back, but you know what? I feel like a woman. Hey, if you are a homeowner, I want you to listen to me. When's the last time you checked your home title? That's the legal proof that you own your house. Most of you, that would be never. Problem is, in today's AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles. Your equity is the target. And here's how it works. Criminals are going to forge your signature on just one document. That's all it takes. They get a fake notary stamp. They pay a little fee to the county, and boom, your home title has been transferred out of your name. And then they take out loans and use your equity and maybe even sell your property. You don't even know, and it's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice. So you need to stop what you're doing today, and you need to see if you're already a victim. Use promo code CHAD, I spell it Chad, over at HomeTitleLock.com. Make sure that you still own your home. You'll get a free title history report plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud should happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HomeTitleLock.com today. Use promo code CHAD. That's HomeTitleLock.com. Promo code CHAD. Oh boy, Steve, Canada, man, Canada. I love it when Canada talks tough. Don't you guys love? Everybody, I'd say float those maple leaves in the chat, but no, put the American flag, and I'm going to pop
There ain't
three
no
of
maple
them.
leaves in the chat. I don't think so. Maybe there
And I
is.
bet you can find a maple leaf. Let's search it right quick. Surely,
Well,
if Maggie Moo
are
can
you
do
able?
there's some maple leaves.
We ought to add some other choices in our thing, because I was playing around on Rumble the other night, and I went to these other pages. They have all kinds of different little emojis, things you pop up. Boom,
Steve,
hit them there in the
you're
chat.
addicted to the screen, dude. You're a screen addict. You're a screen addict, Steve.
I'm addicted to that side of the camera. You're addicted to the other side of the camera. Right or wrong?
Before we go to Canada, look at what CNN's doing. Look at this right here. I just read across this story a little while ago. Look what CNN's doing. Now, if you look at, this is Tim Pool. You asked a little while ago, who's Timcast? That's Tim Pool. All right. I love how you don't know these things. That's fantastic. One of the weirdest dudes on the planet, Tim Pool. Been to his place numerous times. CNN has been caught making Trump look more orange. Yeah, so if you look at Fox, look at that. That's him on Fox. But if you look at him on CNN, he's Oompa Loompa. I love Oompa Loompas.
If you remember back prior to 2016, I said they were doing that.
Yeah.
There's proof out there of me saying it on the Chad Prather show when we were in the other studio.
We did. Yeah. We did. But look at that. Side by side. There they are.
Same old. Same old games.
Looking orange. Have you seen, Mr. Producer, just as a side note, I bet we can't do it because NBC always gets us. Every time we do anything from NBC, but in your free time, audience, I want you to go and look up, oh my gosh, Shane Gillis's bit about wearing the Trump high tops and how you get what you want because it turns you into Trump. hilarious. Go watch it. It's hilarious in your free time. Just do Shane Gillis, Trump shoes. You'll see what I'm talking about. Canada, back to Canada. Canada's prime minister, that's the new one. He's crazy lefty. Says that Canada will lead if the United States doesn't want to. Canada is going to take that role. Okay, play this clip.
Canada is ready to take a leadership role in building a coalition of like-minded countries who share our values. We believe in international cooperation. We believe in the free and open exchange of goods, services, and ideas. And if the United States no longer wants to lead, Canada will.
With
right.
whose money? Whose money are they going to lead with?
All right there, Mark. Here's what I want you, since you believe in all that free crap you just said, what piece of property in Quebec are you going to give the United Nations? Because we need to get them out of New York. So obviously they're going to move to Canada so you guys can lead. And I'd also love to know what chunk of change you guys are going to send to NATO, because you got a huge deficit to make up if we pull out of that sucker. And don't forget, you need to fill in about $9 trillion towards the Paris Climate Accords, which when we pulled out of there, I didn't see you guys stepping up to fill the gap. So let me tell you something, buddy. What are you going to do? I mean, you got your cuck ham and your maple syrup and your hockey and your nice polite Mounties over there, eh? So what are you going to contribute? I mean, words are cool and all. I love words. Words are great. But could somebody tell me who's going to put the dollar up? Because last time I checked, the Canadian dollar ain't worth that much. Quite honestly, I'm just telling you, I'm wearing my shoes.
Not that much.
Not a lot.
What's this
Not
about
a lot.
equal and fair trade? They're not about that.
Not at
They're
all.
going to charge more than we are.
Not at all. I mean, I'm sorry, but when the terrorists target the empire or come after the world center of economic trade, that symbol of economic power globally, they come after New York City. They don't go for Toronto. They're not going for Toronto. They're not going for Montreal. Oui, oui. Comme ci, comme ça. Il n'y a pas de quoi. WC, s'il vous plaît.
That's true. That's what
Fermez
they
la
speak
bouche.
in Montreal.
Fermez la bouche, Mark. Shut up. Commerce Secretary says there's no chance that Trump is backing off on these tariffs. I don't know, but I like the idea of trying something because the status quo is sucked. So can we try something here?
Let's do it.
So I don't know, but the beauty of the tariffs, like I said this morning on Dear America, is if the tariffs don't work, all you do is you take them off. And you reverse it. Yeah, we might have some jittery stocks.
What kind of timeline? You think 6 months? You think a year?
I'll be honest with you. I think in 6 months, we got a whole new game. In 6 months, it's a whole new deal. I think it could be shaky for a minute. But I like a businessman like Trump to come in there and say, this is what we're going to do. I like that. It's better than a politician. Here's the thing, guys. And I know people say, oh, my God, he bankrupted a casino in Atlantic City. He had Trump University, which was like, and he had 7 bankruptcies. He used that as a tool of doing business. I mean, you want to tell me that Trump is some kind of business failure, but somehow the guy is still managing to be worth like $6 or $7 billion. So help me to fail like that if somebody wants to give me Stephen Covey's 7 rules for success. Somebody help me know. I'll file for bankruptcy right damn now. What's going on up in here? But I think, to your point, Steve, in 6 months, it's a whole new game.
Yeah.
I'm on record as saying I don't know.
I think it's going to be less than that. Some of these countries, within 3 months, they're really going to, they're probably already feeling the pain right now. But what I think is going to happen is like with the vehicles, the, American-made vehicles, I think those prices are going to jump because, you better sell that thing right now if you want to buy a new truck.
My art is going through the roof. Roof. These are the things of true value right here.
If you have plans to buy a new car or a new truck, I think it's time to do
we
it
talk
right
about
now,
texting
today.
Chad to 989898 at Birch Gold. Oh, no. This is the real currency, folks. That's the real deal. I actually forgot that was still up behind my head. Back there with little Jesus.
Hope somebody doesn't come in here and throw red paint on it.
But no,
Protester.
play this clip from the Secretary of Commerce. I want you guys to listen to this thing. It's pretty quick. Let's listen to what he had to say. He said he don't think he's backing off.
So the European
Go ahead.
Union and China, they have already vowed to retaliate. At what point would the administration consider pulling back on tariffs, especially on those 10% across the board tariffs? Where is the room for negotiation?
I don't think there's any chance that President Trump's going to back off his tariffs. This is the reordering of global trade, right? That's what's going to happen. But the world should stop exploiting the United States of America. Let our farmers sell their products. Let our ranchers sell their products. They won't take lobster in Europe or the UK. I mean, why won't they take American lobster?
Now they do. They didn't for a while, but now they do.
They don't, because
Okay.
Downing Street said they're going to start, if they change their trade policy, they're going to start having lobster dinners in Downing Street.
All right,
So
well,
that's what they told me. So the point is, let's let American workers succeed and prosper. Let's build factories in America. Let's let us export to the world.
Okay.
You can't really fight with the United States. We are the customer of the world.
So, go ahead, Steve.
Well, I was just saying, America has another problem, and that is the consumers. And the consumers that consume these products that are from China. I want to say it's something like 80% of the products on Amazon come from China,
Yeah.
and we eat it up. I'm
Look how-
guilty as charged.
I refuse to do business with a company like Temu. I refuse. Just on principle alone, because that stuff being manufactured by Uyghur slaves. Like, I'm not buying Nike products. I'm not. There's so many things. Lipstick. I mean, red lipstick is coming from a dye that's being harvested by Uyghur Muslim slaves. That's it. So you can't, by and large, you can't avoid. Your little black Jesus on your microphone came from.
Well, I got to thinking now that where do you think Little Black Jesus was made? Do you think Little Black Jesus was made in America?
It wasn't in Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah,
So here's the thing.
sure.
Here's the thing. What I was going to say earlier is, tell me what private sector job a Joe Biden ever held, or Barack Obama ever held, or Bill Clinton ever held, or George W. Bush. George W. Bush actually did have, he owned the Texas Rangers baseball team. He had some stuff going on, but most of these politicians never had a real job. They never had a real job. All they've ever known is politics. So let's let Trump do his thing for a little while. Now, as Colin Rugg says in that tweet, he says Singapore says they're going to engage with Trump, promise not to impose countermeasures. Switzerland, in talks with Washington, says they won't take immediate countermeasures. French President Macron calls on European countries to suspend all investments in the U.S. Japan refused to comment on retaliation. Says the tariffs are extremely regrettable.
They're not going to, because they're gonna start working these backroom deals, and if they put something out there that would shut those, Trump. I think it would shut down those maneuvers that Trump's counting on, them coming in and saying, "Hey, we can't handle this. How can we fix this?"
Well, the dangerous issue that I see is what I said in the opening comments about American exceptionalism are one thing. American isolationism, I should say, is another potentially very dangerous thing. We do have a global community, and there's no denying that. It's a global community that we live in, and we are in many ways interdependent on one another, because you can't help but be. And so to the degree that we isolate ourselves could be dangerous. But I don't think that we're looking at this attempt to isolate ourselves versus the world's trying to isolate us. So if the globe can come together and say, all right, America's pulling this stuff, we're going to pull together against America, we'll see what happens. But I don't think the average person doesn't realize just how much America contributes to the global economy.
Yeah, and I think that's basically what Canada was saying when he was saying that.
Well, here's an old clip of Nance. Oh, Nancy Pelosi. Nancy. Look how you, wait a minute, stop looking at Nancy.
Whoa.
Look at, right? See, dude, I'm telling you.
That's 30, 40 years. Wait, that was
No, that was
1996.
like last week.
Wow, 30 years. That's
Nancy
30
was
years
Nancy
ago.
was a smoke show, bro. I'm telling you, you guys make fun of me. But Nancy, before the violence took over, she knew. She was a good-looking woman. This is back when she was Congresswoman, Representative Nancy Pelosi, Democrat from California. Here's what she had to say about tariffs on China.
How far does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit and loss of jobs for the American worker? And how much more dangerous proliferation has to exist before members of this House of Representatives will say, I will not endorse the status quo? As I mentioned, it's about jobs, proliferation, and human rights. And there are those who say we shouldn't link human rights and trade and proliferation and trade. I disagree. But if we just want to take up this issue on the basis of economics alone, indeed, China should not receive most favored nation status for several reasons that I'd like to go into now. I'd like to call the attention of our colleagues to this chart on the status quo that the business community is asking each and every one of us to endorse today. Right now, we have a $34 billion trade deficit with China, the 1995 figure. It will be over $40 billion for 1996. Since the Tiananmen Square massacre, this figure has increased 1,000%, from $3.5 billion then to about $34 billion now. In terms of tariffs, I think it's interesting to note that the average U.S. MFN tariff on Chinese goods coming into the United States is 2%, whereas the average Chinese MFN tariff on U.S. goods going into China is 35%. Is that reciprocal? On exports, China only allows certain industries into China, of U.S. Industries into China, and therefore only 2% of U.S. exports are allowed into China. On the other hand, the U.S. allows China to flood our markets with a third of their exports, and that'll probably go over 40%. And it's limitless because we have not placed any restriction. In terms of jobs, this is the biggest and cruelest hoax of all.
Yeah.
Not only do we not have market access, not only do they have prohibitive tariffs, not only are our exports not let in very specifically, but China benefits with at least 10 million jobs from U.S.-China trade. The president, in his statement, requesting this special waiver, said that China trade supports 170,000 jobs in the United States, 170,000 jobs, whereas our imports from China support 10 million jobs at least.
Right, let's stop
Fact is that U.S.-China trade is a job loser. And one of the reasons that it is because well, first let me just make another point, and that is that our colleagues on the other side of this issue will say that trade with China, exports to China have increased 3 times in the last 10 years. They have. But they fail to mention that imports from China have increased 11 times, thereby leading to this huge trade deficit.
But you get the point. I mean, I wanted to let that thing play as long as I could because you see how a lot of years of corruption will warp your brain. I mean, I don't know what zombie bit that old crypt keeper, but that young lady right there, she was talking some common sense back when Democrats actually had moderate viewpoints, particularly on trade. Now, she would 1,000%, if Donald Trump or anybody else were to read that transcript out loud, she would vehemently disagree with her own words right now because she has to. She 100%, and I was punching him in your face. If Donald Trump was saying, punch him in the face. But that's what's happening. When you've been there that long, you've been bought out, you sold out, and these little punks on here can't defend it. I haven't seen a single Democrat, single progressive, a single Harry Sisson, Ed, Brian Krasenstein, little puppet, whatever, anybody come out and make a comment about this right here. I mean, that's the ultimate mic drop. She's pro-tariffs, is what she's saying.
Yeah, 100%.
On China.
What's our biggest export to China? You know,
China.
It's got to be food because they can't grow enough food to feed them all.
No, they can't.
It's got to be like the wheat and the corn and stuff like that.
You know what? You bring up a great question. That would be oil seeds. See, we're killing them off slowly.
Oil seed? Oh, okay. Yeah. Seed oil.
Oil seeds that you make the seed oil from. Then grains, particularly soybeans. I knew it was a crop, but I didn't know which one it was. But yeah, soybeans, wheat,
tofu.
And corn.
They eat a lot of tofu, right? So they got to have it.
Oh my God! Please don't.
And what do we get? We getting a bunch of plastic junk. That's what we get. That's what they export to us. Plastic junk.
Okay, but here's the thing. No one is interested in holding China, as an example, accountable. They're the number one polluter in the world. They're the number one human rights violator, as I've stated earlier, with the Uyghurs, with the Uyghur slaves. And, they're not, take a look at this little slideshow right here. Trump's tariff policies are already working. You got Canada, who stated yesterday they're willing to remove the tariffs on the United States if the United States agrees to do the same for Canada. Trump had a wonderful conversation with the new president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum. Pardo said she has agreed to stop migration through Mexico into the United States, effectively closing our southern border. We also talked about what can be done to stop the massive drug inflow in the United States and also U.S. consumption of these drugs. Good conversation. We're already starting to see these things work. I wish I could see that far. Apple will spend over $500 billion in the U.S. over the next 4 years. Largest ever capital spend in U.S. history. Toyota is now planning a significant investment to increase its operation in the United States. We already saw, weeks ago, we saw Japan investing another $500 billion into the U.S. That's why they decided to stay silent on the whole deal.
Now, Toyota's been building their trucks in Texas for, probably 20 years now, right?
A long time. Yeah. The most American-made truck you've been able to get in the last 20 years has been Toyota. It's crazy. Yeah. That was the last one was about Hyundai. Hyundai, they had $21 billion investment in U.S. that will expand U.S. production, 1.2 million vehicles annually across the Hyundai brands. A pretty good deal. I mean, we're going to see an influx. That's why I said in the next 6 months, I think you're going to see a pretty big deal. I think you're going to see a pretty big change.
It's almost like our generation, the people our age, didn't listen to our dads. Buy American. That was a big deal when we were young. I remember hearing it all the time. Buy American made. And somewhere along the line, we didn't listen.
If I go over and look at my stock portfolio, everybody's like, but the stock market's down. I wasn't planning on selling those stocks today. I mean, I didn't wake up and go, you know what, I've held these stocks for 25 years. I think it's time to sell my investments today. Oh, dadgummit, Trump just implemented tariffs. Stock market's down. Stupid Trump. I mean, I was kind of planning on holding on to those investments for quite some time, honestly. My 401k's down. Well, you weren't spending it, dummy. Let me give you an explanation here from just a perfect explanation in support of this tariff deal. I like Badia Ungar-Sargon. I didn't know who she was until recently, but suddenly she's just started getting just a whole lot of common sense. She's a former Democrat. Pretty outspoken Democrat, too. Here she is on Piers Morgan. Play the clip.
What I find so frustrating about the conversation around tariffs is that we all agree on the problem. We all agree that the deindustrialization of America led to the downward mobility of the American working class, deaths of despair, people working multiple jobs and not being able to afford the American dream. We all agree that it is deeply unfair for the American middle class to be bearing the burden of unfair tariffs from other countries. We all agree that it is great for the president to have leverage in order to demand reasonable things like that countries stop allowing fentanyl to murder 100,000 Americans every year and that Mexico do its part to police its own border. And yet when somebody has the courage to show up and say to Wall Street, screw you, I am waging war. I'm waging class warfare on behalf of the American working class. And you elites in Wall Street, you do what you need to do, because I'm not going to stop fighting for the American working class. Suddenly, everybody is sitting around going, oh no, stock market. Yeah, the stock market looks like that because the rich are punishing Trump for siding with the neglected and humiliated American working class over them. We have already seen these tariffs work, Pierce. The number of people crossing the southern border is at 0. Fentanyl is at record lows for the last 10 years. We have already seen $1.2 trillion in manufacturing invested in this country since January 21st. So they have already worked. Now, how long is Wall Street going to keep trying to punish this president for standing the American working class? I don't know, but I can tell you that the view from the street is people cannot believe that there is a president who is working for them, who is putting them first and telling Wall Street to go screw itself. Wall Street, which picked the Democrats for the last 3 election cycles in a row. That's what the real story is here. American Compass did a survey of just GOP voters. We know now that the majority of Americans who make under $100,000 a year now vote for the Republican Party. So that was almost a means-tested poll. And they found that 77% of GOP voters, the working class, not the elites, said that when they were asked, they said they would be willing to pay higher prices if it meant bringing back manufacturing, because of course in their mind they are going to be the beneficiaries of those manufacturing jobs. About Canada, a lot of people are asking, why Canada? We love Canada. Canada are our friends. Why wage this, tariff war on Canada? And of course the answer is simple. Canada and Mexico are the back door to the American economy because we have this trade deal with them, the USMCA. So if there are no tariffs on China, if Canada and Mexico do not match our tariffs on China, China simply builds car manufacturing plants in Canada and in Mexico, which they have already done, and they use that in order to get tariff-free cars into the American market, which is exactly what President Trump is trying to get away from. So what he wants from them is for them to close that back door. And I just want to emphasize again, back in the 70s, when the majority of the GDP in America was in the middle class, right? That's kind of like the golden era that we look back to of when the economy was really healthy and working class people felt that they could afford a middle class life. 25% of our economy was in manufacturing. Today, the top 10% control over 60% of the GDP. And that is a direct result of the fact that only 10% of our economy is manufacturing. And the largest share, 20%, is in finance and real estate, which is, of course, how other countries we have artificially inflated the dollar, which makes the product of the American worker unaffordable. And so what the tariffs are doing are simply saying we are refusing the race to the bottom in wages. It is unfair to the American worker, which I think we have all basically agreed on at this point.
I mean, if you go on like that for 2.5 minutes and even Shank Jigger or whatever his name is from Young Turks can't open his mouth, I'd say that's a mic drop moment.
You see the woman in the green? She kept...
Oh, yeah, you wasn't getting nothing. And then Carrie Lake's just sitting there giggling. I need to text Carrie. I hadn't talked to her in a minute. How about that little name drop? Here's the deal. Here's what she's saying. She's saying that, people always said, how is it that a billionaire real estate mogul from New York City can relate to the guy that's changing the oil in the Midwest? This is the reason why. So if I sold my stock right now in XYZ company, the market ain't going to feel it because I'm nobody. I got a few $1,000s in certain stocks, whatever, and the market's not going to feel it. But when the elites start dropping their stock, then they feel it. So what this whole tariff deal, see, for decades, both parties, Republicans, Democrats, everybody, they've sold out the working class. They've been offshoring the jobs, and they'll scratch your butt and tell you it's a tickle. I mean, I'm telling you, they'll do all that stuff and say it's good for the economy. And then they're going to say, well, these tariffs are hurting the markets. Whose markets? The elites' markets, not mine and yours. Mine and yours are going to be just fine. It's these elitists, and what they're doing is they're punishing Trump, punishing the American people, punishing the economy so that we all feel it by not getting behind this. And let me tell you what those greedy bastards are going to do, every single damn one of them. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to see the sell-off that's going to happen in the market, and guess what they're going to do when they see those good deals? They're going to buy right back in.
Buy.
They're going to buy right back in. That's why I said in 6 months, mark my words, we're playing a whole new ballgame. More money in your pocket. And they want the mainstream media, the lobbyists, the crazy people out there in politics, they're going to tell you this is a bad thing. You know why? Because it hurts their elitist pocketbooks. So there you go. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but I need to text Carrie and tell her. I don't know if she knows. I don't know if Carrie Lake knows that I was at the Oval Office just a month ago. Today, as a matter of fact. I think it's 4 weeks ago. Look at me. Look at me in there with that cowboy hat on. I was hoping young Nancy was going to come out of that closet over there and be like, I've been waiting on you. I've been waiting on you. I want you guys to get on my Make Wellness team. I want you to get on my Make Wellness. Nope. Steve, we're not going to talk for you right now. I want you to get on my Make Wellness team. If you get on my team, I may put you on Steve's team. I said, stop talking. We will mute you, sir. We're doing good. Listen. You want to be on a team, a winning team? Let me give you a statistic. My friend, she just told me, because it's a new company. Make Wellness is a new company. Started in November. Out of 12,000 affiliates, I was in the company. I've been taking Make Wellness for a long time. Out of 12,000 affiliates on this particular team, at the end of March, guess what? Out of 12,500 of the affiliates on that team, after 2 weeks of being a part of it, 10 days of being a part of it, I was ranked number 4. Number 4.
It's not too shabby.
Now, I'm telling you,
you just held up.
If you like to take peptides, I do. I take peptides. I've been giving myself shots. Stuff for energy, stuff for people do it for weight loss. People like to be calm at night. There's a peptide for everything. There's peptides literally in your mama's breast milk. You started taking peptides, and then you get older and you don't produce the peptides anymore. This is not a magic pill. It doesn't replace working out and exercising, eating right. No, that's not what that is. That's not what that does. Peptides are the aminos that break down for the protein synthesis so your body creates tissue and muscle and all that stuff. You got to have peptides, and your body stops producing them as you get older.
Hey, look, everyone's asking how to get on my team. And I got some team.
I don't even believe you, dude. Nobody's even in the chat
I'm reading
anymore.
the comments. It says Team Steve Powell. And how do you get on your team party? You go to all my social media. There's a link around there somewhere.
That's messed up, man. That's messed up.
Get it where I can.
I mean, if you want to get on Steve's team.
Look at that. Chad Prather right there.
There are people who are on. There are people on Todd's team, Kendra's team, Tony's team, and people on Meggie Moo's team. I want you. I want. Those are my key people right there. Sarah Gonzalez has a team. CJ's got a team. I'm just out here helping people, and then we got all kind of folks doing all kind of things, man. Bam, there it is.
It's fun. It's kind of exciting. I wouldn't have thought that I would, kind of do something like that.
You got fun, didn't it?
After I had fun, I got that first commission. I was like, I can do this.
And how long?
I sold some stuff
for a week.
9 days.
For a week. You were a week, and you got your little check.
I made a car payment.
That's what I'm talking about.
Out of thin air.
I was sitting there going, I go, my friend Kendall Bailey, she goes, you already used this stuff, right? You take it? And I go, yeah, I love it. And she goes, you could sell it, right? And I go, well, you know what? I hadn't been getting paid for the Dear America show, so why don't we sell this? Make a little extra income right here. I promise you. We joke about it.
Paid for doing shows?
We joke about this. We have a good time. We joke about all the stuff that we do. But let me tell you something. I see people who say it's way too expensive. I see you, Jet, and I hear you. The individual items, if you break that down, they're not too bad. Let me tell you what is very expensive. What's very expensive is when you wind up with a torn labrum in your shoulder because you have tissue breakdown, and you go to the doctor and he goes, "What did you do?" And I'm 52 years old, and I go, "I just woke up." And these peptides that aren't synthesizing the proteins and the tissue and the rebuilding. And you know what I did to repair the shoulder? I did injectable peptides. It's still not not completely repaired. But I started doing injectable peptides. What's expensive is when you go get a scan done of your shoulder and then they send you a $1,700 bill. That's what's expensive. Not an overnight deal, but you need to be getting those peptides in your body. Yeah.
No, we did the subscription, the monthly subscription, which at first I thought this is it does save some money, but I thought I was like, man, that's expensive. But after that first week of some money coming in, I was like, oh, it's already paid for itself. So
yeah.
And I begged everybody to get in under the founders, get in early.
Yeah. I think there's a new incentive that's coming out this week and stuff, but yeah. I mean, I just keep telling you, I'm like Jet Magazine, baby, like, whoop-ow! Well, I'm in playing shape, Daddy. I'm in playing shape, dog. I'm having fun with it, man. It's a competition thing. All right. Good Trent says, I fly twice a month to Alaska. I need your prayers. Please pray for me that I get to make a video of a bunch of naked yahoos running around the airport. Also pray that they are attractive people. I'm with you, Trent. If that happens to us, Steve, I'm definitely turning the phone around so I'm in there with it. I'm not missing that opportunity to be vain.
Yeah, you gotta be quick to think to record stuff. I just watch stuff happen. Like, I should have recorded that.
Well, the new iPhone 16, it's got a button right here down low, like where your thumb normally is when you hold your phone. And if you hit it, the camera automatically pops up.
Oh, that's nice.
They got it quicker.
I got the
yeah.
I got the iPhone 3 or something.
Yeah. What else we got? Dude, Chad, if you have nightmares about cutting my wiener off with a license plate tonight, I'm going to be pissed. Listen, if you're circumcising yourself with a license plate, bro, all wrong. All wrong. Doing it all wrong. Oh, what else we got? Anything else? That's it. See? We made $10.
$10 in Super Chat.
Oh, man. I love you guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for letting us get off the rails a little bit. We try not to go too hard on the news since we do so much in the morning, but it's good times. Everybody doing good. Everybody hanging out. Everybody feeling good. Make sure you click like before you get out of here. At Partyfoul Steve is the social. And you can go to watchchatchat.com.
Everywhere. Facebook, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, and there's even X, but I'm not on there much. Yeah. So Facebook and Instagram for sure.
We're headed to Kansas in the morning. It's been a fantastic week. Thank you, guys. Tune into the Hot Seat today with Todd and also Maggie Moo's show. She's out there this evening. Brianna Morella gets you caught up on the news. And so much, I gotta go call Graham, see what's going on with that boy. He's texted. So let me see what's going on. In the meantime, I love you guys so much. I really do. Thanks for letting me have fun, just be silly with you guys. And I wouldn't be here without y'all. I really do. I love you. If you want to join the Make Wellness team, you can go to the links in all my bios and all the kind of stuff. Jump on there. And Punisher says, take my money, take my dollar. Go over there and harass Todd. Go troll Todd, Punisher. One of my favorite people on the internet, Punisher 541. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off of here, and I appreciate you so much. Praying for you every single day. Join me over on my Facebook prayers daily, most daily. I try to stay as consistent as I can with that. But no matter what, whether you read them, see them, or anything else, just know I'm praying for you. God bless you guys, and we will talk to you Monday morning. Bye.